We need to talk, because for every Batman and Robin that's just a blast to watch,
all right, everyone, chill,
or a Morbius that becomes a meme,
it's Morbid time.
There's a superhero movie that's so bad, it's just bad. No fun, no irony, just a cinematic black hole. And today, we're diving into 10 of them.
You suck, you jackass.
Howdy, and thanks for clicking on this video to see what this jackass has to say. I appreciate you. If you're new here, I'm Chris. And if you like films that mattered before the algorithm learned to write scripts, well, you're in the right place.
Get a load of this guy.
I usually like to explore the best of what genres tend to offer in the movie realm, but today I wanted to focus on some of the worst.
Absolute dog shit.
And look, if you're like me, we all love a good train wreck. Movies like Howard the Duck or Superman 4 have this weird magnetic charm because of how misguided they are. But this list isn't about them. This isn't about what the critics on Rotten Tomatoes decided was a true failure. And it's not about movies that are so bad they're good. This is my personal Hall of Shame. So today, I'm ranking the 10 superhero movies I believe are genuinely, painfully bad, based on one simple metric. I would never ever want to sit through them again. Hey, it's subjective, you may disagree with me on some, but let's start the countdown and see. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a movie you probably didn't even remember existed, 2008's The Spirit. So comic book god Frank Miller had just co-directed Sin City, which was awesome. Everyone was thinking, all right, cool, let this man cook. Give him his own movie, so they did, and he gave us this. Now, to be fair, the movie's beautiful. It's got that same slick black and white comic book style as Sin City, and you know what? It really pops on screen. But holy shit.
Holy shit!
A pretty picture does not make a good movie. The problem really is that everything else is a complete mess. The tone's all over the place. Is it a serious noir? Is it a goofy comedy? The movie doesn't really know, and neither will you. Every character talks like they're in a bad high school play, trying desperately to sound tough and cool, but it just comes off as painful. It's a movie that has all the style in the world, but zero soul. Honestly, it had so much potential, but instead of being fun bad, it's just exhausting. It's forgettable because there's nothing to actually hold on to. Coming in at number 9's a movie that broke my heart just a little bit, Wonder Woman 1984. Man, I thought 2017's Wonder Woman was pretty good. It was this huge, epic, and heartfelt movie that actually worked. So we were all ready for the sequel, and then at the peak of COVID, we all sat down on our couches and watched this absolute train wreck.
I mean, what the fuck?
Because the story choices really undercut the heart. The villains don't land, the CGI wobbles, and the emotions just never really click. And here's why it's unwatchable for me. Expectations were massive after the first movie crushed it, but this sequel arrives with a clunky wish magic plot and a villain setup that sounds big on paper, then plays like diet soda. Weak fizz, no punch. The release was a huge deal, same-day theaters and HBO Max, so most of us watched it on the couch, and even with that comfort, it couldn't keep attention. And yeah, the whole Steve Trevor body swap thing.
What the hell is even that?
It's not just messy, it's ethically weird and distracts from any real romance. Even the director and press had to address the backlash because it raised obvious consent issues. On top of that, the CGI swings from fine to video game cutscene. And the big emotional beats feel hollow, so you're left watching noise instead of a story you actually care about. Critics and audiences were split enough that its Rotten Tomatoes score slid into rotten territory for a time, which tells you the glow wore off fast. This movie had a golden ticket after the first one, but instead of making another classic, they gave us this baffling, boring, and truly forgettable mess. It deserves every bit of hate it gets. Coming in at number 8's a movie that personally hurt my feelings, 2011's Green Lantern. And the DC Marvel battle, I'm more of a DC guy, and I absolutely love Green Lantern. He's one of my favorite all-time DC characters, so when this was announced, honestly, I was genuinely hyped. On paper, this thing should have been a no-brainer home run. You had Ryan Reynolds, a perfect choice for Hal Jordan, and it was directed by Martin Campbell, the same dude who recently made Casino Royale. I mean, how could you possibly screw that up? Well, they found a way, didn't they? What we got was one of the most embarrassing comic book movies ever made. And its biggest sin is that god-awful fully CGI suit. It looks like cheap plastic. It never feels real, and it completely takes you out of the movie every time it's on screen. Also, the villain is literally just a big scary space cloud. A fart cloud. That's what they came up with. This movie had a $200 million budget and it barely made that back worldwide, making it a legendary box office bomb. It was so bad, Ryan Reynolds has spent the last decade making fun of it in his other movies. It had all the potential to be epic, but instead it's a soulless, ugly-looking mess that has rightfully become a punchline. Alright, at number 7, we have a movie that proves Hollywood can, in fact, screw up the same story twice. Dark Phoenix. This one's just tragic. After First Class, Days of Future Past, and even the mediocre Apocalypse, the X-Men series had some real momentum. They had one of the most legendary comic book storylines of all time teed up with an amazing cast ready to go. This could have and should have been their endgame. Instead, it was a spectacular disaster. They handed the reins to Simon Kinberg, a first-time director, and honestly, some view him as a total hack. And the whole production was plagued by behind-the-scenes drama and massive reshoots. The entire third act was reportedly scrapped and redone because it was too similar to another superhero movie.
Yeah, but which one?
The result's a film that feels completely lifeless. The actors all look like they'd rather have been somewhere else, and the story has zero emotional punch. The film takes one of the most epic cosmic tales of power and corruption and shrinks it down to a boring, mopey, small-scale mess. It's so bad it became the biggest box office bomb in the entire X-Men franchise, losing the studio well over $100 million. It's not just a bad movie, it's a monument to wasted potential. Coming in at number 6, we have a movie that took one of the most badass, gritty characters in all of comics and did him so dirty. Let's talk about 2010's Jonah Hex. In the comics, Jonah Hex is this scarred, cynical, absolutely brutal bounty hunter. Think of a supernatural version of Clint Eastwood in the Old West. He's flat out awesome. So when they cast Josh Brolin, who I think was born to play this role, it really felt like a can't-miss prospect. So what the hell happened? Well, the movie decided to take this grounded, tough-as-nails character and give him magic powers.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
He can talk to the dead, and the villain wants to use a super weapon to blow up America on the 4th of July. It's a dumb cartoon plot that completely misses the point of the character. The whole thing's a shockingly short 81 minutes long, and that includes credits. That's not a movie. That's a film that's been hacked to pieces in the editing room and left to die. What I hate so much is that they had the perfect actor and a killer concept, but they got scared of making a real Western and instead delivered a jumbled, incoherent mess. It's completely forgettable, and the only thing it managed to do was waste Josh Brolin and rob us of a potentially amazing franchise. Honestly, a true shame. Alright, sliding into the number 5 spot is a movie that wasn't just a disappointment, it was a historic catastrophe. Let's talk about The Marvels. And you know, I went into this not wanting to hate it. It had all the pieces for a fun cosmic adventure. You take 3 cool heroes, team them up, and let them fly. Instead, what we got was the single biggest box office bomb in MCU history. And holy hell did it earn that title. From the very first scene, the whole thing feels like a chaotic mess. The story's so disjointed and tangled that reports came out saying it needed 4 weeks of extensive reshoots just to make it make sense. The villain is one of the most forgettable in the entire MCU, and the plot has these bizarre side quests like an entire musical planet that just stop the movie dead in its tracks. It's so sloppy that it completely ignores the entire plot of Secret Invasion, you know, the show that came out right before it and was supposed to set it up. The movie didn't just fail. It lost Disney a reported $237 million. It's a joyless, lazy, and boring film that feels like it was cobbled together by a committee that wasn't speaking to each other. I don't think it's just bad. It's honestly a black hole of entertainment. Cracking our top 4 is a film so famously bad, it's a modern legend of superhero failure. I'm talking about 2015's Fantastic Four, or as it's better known, Fant Four Stick. You know, thinking about it, this wasn't just a movie. It was a 5-alarm fire from start to finish.
This is fine.
The production allegedly was absolute hell. The director, Josh Trank, was coming off the awesome found footage movie Chronicle and was supposed to be the next big thing. Instead, there were reports of him being isolated, not talking to his cast, and fighting with the studio non-stop. The result was a movie that got taken away from him with massive studio-mandated reshoots that are painfully obvious. Kate Mara's wig literally changes from scene to scene, and the final product is a joyless, miserable experience. It takes Marvel's first family, who are supposed to be fun, optimistic adventurers, and turns them into sad, boring lab rats. They don't even get their powers until halfway through the damn movie and don't operate as a team until the last 10 minutes. And honestly, the cast is great. The actors are all incredibly talented, but they look like they're being held hostage here. And the whole thing ends with one of the worst, cheapest looking CGI villains you'll ever see. This movie doesn't just suck. It was a career killer that buried the Fantastic Four for almost a decade. It's a depressing, ugly, and soulless film that failed on every single level. Okay, for our number 3 spot, we're digging up a movie that most people have rightfully buried in the back of their minds. 2005's Elektra. This right here is the definition of wasted potential. It came out right after the Daredevil movie, which honestly I think holds up a little better than most people make out to be. Whatever.
Your taste sucks.
And Jennifer Garner was at the absolute peak of her fame. She was great in the role, and Elektra is supposed to be one of the most badass assassins in Marvel Comics. I think a solo movie really should have been a slam dunk. But what we got instead was a complete and total snooze fest.
It's boring as shit.
The movie has the pacing of a turtle walking through peanut butter. The plot's some nonsense about her protecting a magical kid from a group of evil ninjas called the Hand, but it's so boring and confusing, you'll check out after about 20 minutes. This is the key difference between a movie like this and something like Supergirl.
Leave this place and do no harm.
Supergirl's terrible, no doubt, but it has a goofy charm and people still talk about it today. No one, and I mean no one, talks about Elektra. Ever. If you've seen it, you probably don't remember a single thing that happened. It's not fun, it's not interesting, and it's not even memorable enough to make fun of. It exists purely as a cautionary tale about why you shouldn't make a spin-off unless you actually have a story to tell. In the big picture, it's a cinematic ghost. Alright, our runner-up for the most unwatchable superhero movie of all time is a film that should have never ever been made. Coming in at number 2, it's Son of the Mask. This movie was just a legendary bad idea from the very beginning. The Mask with Jim Carrey is a timeless classic. It's hilarious, it's creative, it's lightning in a bottle. Also, it was a box office smash hit, so naturally the studio wanted a sequel. But the problem was Jim Carrey was the biggest star on the planet, and after hating the experience of making Ace Ventura 2, he swore off doing sequels entirely. So what does the studio do? The logical thing? Cancel the project? No, they decided to make a sequel without a single person from the original cast and greenlight one of the most impressively awful movies I've ever seen. The plot's about an aspiring cartoonist played by Jamie Kennedy, whose dog finds the mask and then his baby's conceived while he's wearing it. So the baby has all the powers of the mask, but none of the charm. What follows is 90 minutes of the most painful, unfunny, cringe-inducing comedy ever put to film. The jokes are so dumb they don't even qualify as jokes. Also, the CGI baby's just pure nightmare fuel. At its core, it's a movie made for children that is somehow too stupid for children. It's not just a bad sequel, it's a soulless cash grab that spits on the legacy of the original. It's genuinely, shockingly, unwatchably terrible. And here we are, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Whoa, you gotta calm down there, Chuck.
The number 1 most unwatchably bad, soul-crushing, and completely forgettable superhero movie ever made is, without a doubt, 2016's Max Steel. If you're sitting here thinking, what the hell is Max Steel? You're not alone. It's a miracle this movie even exists. And honestly, this isn't just a bad movie, it's a void. This film achieved the holy grail of failure, a perfect 0% score from critics on Rotten Tomatoes. It was such a colossal box office travesty, making just $6.3 million on a $10 million budget. It basically went straight from the factory right to the graveyard. The story's supposed to be about a teenager named Max who finds out his body can generate energy, and he teams up with a little robot alien named Steel to become a superhero. It's a simple enough idea, but the execution's so jaw-droppingly awful, it's genuinely hard to watch. The writing's atrocious. The acting so wooden you could build a deck with it. The special effects look like they were rendered on a PS2. The whole thing has this cheap, lazy feel of a TV pilot that was rejected by every network and then accidentally released in theaters. Everyone involved looks like they're in on an inside joke that the audience isn't allowed to understand. It's not funny, it's not exciting, and it's not even entertainingly bad. It's just nothing. It's the absolute pinnacle of unwatchable superhero cinema. So there it is. my personal hall of shame. From the baffling choices in The Spirit, all the way to the cinematic black hole that is Max Steel. We made it through, and I think I need a drink. The whole point of this list was to separate the fun bad from the just plain bad. As I mentioned, we all love a good train wreck, but these films aren't even that. These are the movies that committed the ultimate sin. They're fucking boring. They're a chore to get through. They have no passion, no soul. They leave you feeling absolutely nothing. They are the most forgettable, unwatchable superhero movies ever made. But that's just my list. Now I gotta know yours. What's the one superhero movie that you consider to be completely unwatchable? The one that just sucked the life out of you and you'd never sit through again? Let me know in the comments below. Also, what's your favorite guilty pleasure terrible superhero movie? And hey, if you enjoyed this little trip through hell, do me a solid and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what we tear apart next. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna go watch something to wash the taste of Max Steel out of my brain. As always, the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, but what do I know? I'm but a mere jackass. I'll try to do better next time. Catch you later, friends.
Jackass of all trades, don't know shit. I'll keep on talking, acting like I'm so legit. From politics to sports, I'll spout